Hi, Zavi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Zavi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Zavi.
I keep hearing Amanda keep saying hi to me.
I know, so do I.
It was YouTube started going on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I know. I was like, why does Zavi keep saying hi?
I kept hearing it, but I didn't know it was me. So great.
I'm glad it wasn't me doing that
Amanda.
mess up this time around.
I'm just here like looking at my phone, setting a calendar reminder, and not listening to myself. I love technology.
I heard him.
That's a strange reference. Like upstairs, the guy
yeah.
upstairs.
The guy upstairs, the one we've all been waiting for.
He's frantically trying to find a good Wi-Fi spot.
Our building is the worst.
Do you see a member? Busy's in the waiting room.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and sorry for the delay. Was having some audio trouble. So we're 5 minutes after 6:30, so we're going to jump right into it. I'm hereby calling to order this February 9th meeting of the Council of the City of Lancaster. We'll begin with the roll of members. Mr. Harris, if you would be so kind.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Royo.
Here.
Ms. Bakay.
Here.
Ms. Craig.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Here.
Mr. Soto. And President Smith Waddell.
I am here. Thank you, Bernie. So we are going to have, just so everyone knows, we are going to be down a couple of items that were otherwise on the agenda. So first and foremost, we're not going to consider resolution number 8, 2021 at this meeting. I'll ask council to bear with me again. In addition, we will also not be considering Administration Bill number 4, 2021 tonight. That was scheduled for first reading, and we are withdrawing that for the time being for internal review. I believe that would take us to, notifications are blowing my computer up and I'm trying to turn the sound off on them. Life in the future, y'all, forgive me. So I believe that brings us to the minutes of the January 26th 2021 meeting of council. I'll hear a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there council comments on the minutes? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
and Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. I'm sorry, I neglected to mention 2 items up that Councilor Soto is excused. So moving right along, that brings us to proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition. I know we're not doing resolution number 8, but we still have resolution number 5, Mr. Harris?
Yes, Mr. President.
All right. So council resolution number 5, as discussed at the previous committee meeting, was opposing wildlife killing contest. Mr. Harris, would you read the title for us? I'm all out of order tonight.
Yes, Mr. President. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster opposing the indiscriminate killing of wildlife in the form of wildlife killing contests.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I'm used to those being slightly longer. I'll hear a motion to approve.
So move.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Diaz.
Well, it looks like I don't have anybody online unless I'm not sure. But in regards to this particular ordinance, it seems that we have a lot of wildlife killing, and we did have a video that was very graphic of how many foxes and different types of wildlife that has been killed, like a contest, which obviously I'm very passionate about keeping our wildlife, and the fact that this is their land, they can live on it, and it's not right to kill any living thing other than maybe a reptile, but so this is one thing that the Humane of Pennsylvania is really fighting for. I think there's 2 other states that have a practice of doing that. But if we eliminate all these wonderful species that we enjoy, whether it's a bird or whether it's a small fox, we're not going to have anything to enjoy. So this is why we're working on passing this resolution, and hopefully in the future we can fight it and lobby in Harrisburg as well, which sometimes I do go out there and lobby for that.
All right, thank you, Councilor Diaz. Are there any other council comments on the resolution? Are there other comments from the public on the resolution? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Harris, would you please?
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Councilor Diaz, for bringing that forward. That brings us to our first public comment period, reserved for citizens who have contacted the city clerk prior to the meeting to request the opportunity to speak. Do we have any tonight, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
Okay. That brings us to reports requested by council. Do we have any tonight?
We do not, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I believe that will bring us to reports of committees of council held on February 1st, 2021. We'll begin with the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Garcia Molina.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety Committee meeting did not take place.
All right. Give me just a second. I will be reporting. Thank you, Councilor Garcia Molina. I will be reviewing the Public Works meeting for Councilor Soto this evening. Primarily what was discussed was Administration Bill number 4, 2021 regarding the use of personal delivery vehicles. And again, what you're imagining are suitcase-sized wheeled robots that would scurry their way down the streets to make deliveries on behalf of companies, and that that passing such a bill would give us the opportunity to regulate how it is that they behave, or whether or not they're allowed in our city. We were previously going to address that tonight, but it's been removed from the agenda. It's going to get retooled, and we're going to see that probably later on. And I believe that is all the Public Works Committee considered. That brings us to the Economic Development Committee. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did not meet during the last committee meeting.
Thank you, Councilor. Finance, Councilor Bakay.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee did meet, and there was 4 items on our agenda. The first of which is up for first reading this evening. It's Administration Bill number 5 of 2021 that amends previous ordinances related to the funding of a fiber optic network in the city. The ordinance would settle any disputes with Mall Communications and unwind our municipal carrier agreement with them, ultimately allowing the city to own the fiber optic network. I appreciate Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Handberger's presentation at this meeting, or previous meeting, and I anticipate additional conversation about this bill as it's up for first reading, and we will consider it at a later meeting. Additionally, there was other items. Administration Resolution number 7 of 2021, amending the capital improvement plan. Resolution number 6 of 2021, appointing special counsel for the Public Utility Commission. This is replacing previous counsel. And resolution number 9 of 2021, which is exonerating water and sewer payments for the city-owned properties for 2020. All of those items will appear later on the agenda. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilor Bakay. Community Planning, Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Councilor. Community Planning Committee did not meet.
Thank you, Councilor Craig. Personnel Committee, Councilor Diaz. You're muted, Councilor.
The Personnel Committee met on Monday, February 1st, to review the following nominations for the appointment of City Board, Commission, and authorities. I am just going to read the names and what their terms are, since they're all going to be under the Human Relations Commission Board Directors. Ahmed will be unfinished term until, September 30th, 2023. Alyssa Anderson will unfinished term until September 30th, 2021. Kyra Chotois, unfinished term until September 30th, 2023. Shane Fielder would be unfinished term until September 30th, 2024. Katrina Holmes, unfinished term until September 30th, 2022. Leah Margorum would be unfinished term until, September 30th, 2024. Whitney Lumpton, unfinished term until September 30th, 2022. Annie Strotcher, unfinished term until September 30th, 2022. And that would be part of the Human Relations Commission Board of Directors. So the next one is the Public Art Advisory Board, where we would have John McGran, July 31st, 2022 to July 31st, to July 30th, 2020. Is that correct?
Hold on, I'm taking a look at the minutes here from July 31st.
Because that would be, all right.
Yep, it's retroactive. That's correct. Yep,
Okay.
we're reaching backwards.
And then we would have Ishmael Waddell Smith, then July 31st, 2020 to July 31st, 2021. The next would be Lancaster Industrial Development Authority for 5 years, and that's Patty Cornell. And then we have Rebecca Addington, She would be appointed to the City Revitalization and Improvement Zone Authorities, completing an unfinished term on January 6, 2023. So I will make a motion that all of these appointments will be approved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Council comments on the appointments. Any comments from the public? All right, hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Royo,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye.
And that concludes our Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. That brings us to the legislative agenda. We begin with items from the Historic District. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. Considering the following application and recommendation from the Historical Architectural Review Board for an improvement to a property within the Historic District. Mark and Miriam Ponce, owners of 240 North Charlotte Street, request replacement of 2 windows on the building's east facade. And that was recommended for approval by the Historical Architectural Review Board.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I'll hear a motion.
Motion to
Motion
approve.
to. Second. Whatever you need.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Council comments. Anything from the public? Hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Royo,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig. Sorry, Ms. Craig.
Can she hear?
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Harris. That brings us to ordinances for first reading. Administration Bill number 5. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, amending sections 4 of both Administrative Bill number 8, 2017, and Administrative Bill number 9, 2017, to authorize the use of funds received by the Land City Connect Special Revenue Fund and funds received as loan repayments pursuant to Resolution number 15, 2017, to be used to settle any and all disputes with Mall Communications, Inc., pay costs associated with the operation of Land City Connect, including internet service fees, pay fees, and costs from consultants and others utilized in determining best uses of the city's fiber optic cable for other similar uses associated with the unwinding of the city's municipal carrier agreement with Mall Communications, Inc., providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability of the ordinance, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with Pennsylvania law. The first reading, Mr. President.
I see what you did there. Councilor Baker.
Thank you very much. So I provided a very brief summary during my committee report, and I see Mr. Hopkins is on and ready to speak to us, and he can do a better job than I. So please go ahead, Mr. Hopkins.
Thanks, Councilor Bakay. And I will keep this very brief because we had a lengthy presentation at the committee meeting last week. For anybody who might be watching this, you can go back and review that. The presentation that both Barry Handwerger, the city solicitor, and myself did to talk about the entire, to talk about this ordinance, but really almost like the 8-year history of the relationship with Mall. And now we're to the point of unwinding that contractual relationship. So the bottom line here is that what this ordinance will do is it's essentially additional appropriations authorization for the administration by City Council to take funds that were already allocated for the purposes of the Land City Connect residential business internet system and reallocate those funds to allow us to spend them, one, on the settlement payment to Mall. That was part of the agreement that we've reached with them. and also any ongoing costs that are related to the operation of the fiber system. When we take over the system under the terms of the agreement with MAW, we will, obviously have the future opportunities with the use of the fiber, both by the city and also by private sector partners that will come down the road eventually. But initially, we will have some costs related just operating the system, right? We are essentially now an ISP. We've got some customers in Land City Connect, and we'll have some other related costs related to the system. So the ordinance itself will provide the authority to fund the payment to MAW, which completely will unwind the agreement with a settlement, but probably sometime in mid to late March, and then pay some ongoing costs that we'll have to operate the system until we get new partners in place.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. Can I ask a question outside the questions that were asked in the committee?
Sure.
And maybe this is an answer later question, but I'm just curious because we've talked a lot about finding the right partner for this and the ultimate goal of the fiber optic network. I'm just wondering if we've thought about or even done an analysis of the cost of operating, owning and servicing essentially a fiber optic network as a city utility, what that would look like, what that would entail for the city of Lancaster, what it's cost other cities, and the timeline for something like that, as opposed to looking for another partner.
So the reason we've talked about bringing other partners on board really is because this is not the area of the city's expertise, right? We've got expertise in all sorts of areas. Being an ISP and running a fiber system is not one of those areas of expertise. And rather than bring that in-house and basically, expand the requirements of city staffing and expertise, it really, in all the review that we've done of these systems around the country and, white papers that have been written by firms that we've talked to, the public-private partnership is there really because for that reason. This is not in the wheelhouse of local municipal governments, of county governments. It is in the wheelhouse of a lot of private sector firms, and that's why we've sort of taken this approach of looking for other partners to be participating. The question about sort of the cost of operation of a system is one that, we had reviewed those costs when we were in the relationship with MAW. We'll now have to revisit those and look at what other costs may be incurred, and also what, we think that there's additional opportunities there for those private sector partnerships with the city. We know that there's going to be some cost incurred, but we also think that there's going to be much more of a return on investment because of the city ownership of the infrastructure itself.
Thank you. I appreciate your answer.
And also, Patrick, just as a follow-up question to Councilor Bakay, isn't there also a preclusion by the FCC for us to own and operate?
I'm not sure that's an FCC issue. There's some, well, I don't want to talk off the top of my head to answer that, but I think that there are limitations on our ability to do that ourselves rather than have a private sector partner there. But again, that's really more a question for Barry probably than it is for me.
Okay, well, let's follow up on that because I think that that's definitely part of it. But Councilor Bakay, we did have some conversation about that. The technical capacity just doesn't exist on our team right now, which would require a pretty large and sizable investment in just the human capital to run this. And I think that what has been decided was that there were better economies of scale for us if we were to outsource and literally not be expanding the scope of government and the number of employees that we have, but still be able to provide the service to our residents. So that was definitely part of the analysis, and it should just be an ongoing conversation that we're having as time goes on.
Thank you.
I have a question. In regards to running the fiber optic, is there any type of fiber optic that's going to be run underground anywhere that you are aware of?
Well, the system that we will be owning after the settlement gets consummated includes some underground fiber in the downtown area of the city, which is where there's a prohibition on overhead lines, whether it's electrical, telephone, anything else. That's where micro trenching was used. It's basically about a foot or two deep trench, a couple inches wide, that was dug along the curb line, and there's fiber run in that micro trench. The rest of the city outside of basically the central business district, everything is above ground. There's a possibility of using that micro trenching in other areas of the city, depending on what issues either we or other partners might run into in terms of expansion of the backbone. But for right now, the underground part is strictly in the downtown area.
So there's no actual fees or any type that taxes that would be incurred at all, either to the city or to the areas or the residential areas?
So for the city, as the owner of the infrastructure, the fees that we would incur are they're pole attachment fees. So everybody who attaches, every firm, every entity that attaches any infrastructure, either to PPL owned poles, Verizon owned poles, and I'm not sure if there are any other poles owned by other entities. You pay a pole attachment fee for each actual physical attachment of fiber or anything else to the pole. That's one of the costs that we will take on as part of the ownership of the system.
So you're saying we're talking about poles, but I'm talking about the underground.
No, any of the underground fiber that's run is within the city-owned right-of-way, or in the case of some of the main roads in the downtown, whether some of them are PennDOT owned, but we've got the right to have that fiber in there, but there's no fee that's incurred for that fiber.
Thank you, Patrick.
Sure.
Patrick, not to pile on real quick, but I think a question that some people are wondering, and just for the sake of the record, if anything in recent ongoings with MAW means that existing LCC consumers within the city should anticipate an interruption of service. So
what we are, we talked about the sort of as is component of, what we're taking over. What we plan to do is basically maintain status quo, current Land City Connect customers, current pricing, everything as is. The draft settlement agreement includes the possibility of engaging MAW for, I believe it's up to 90 days to maintain the current operations of Land City Connect until we get somebody else in place to do that. So, and that's really there because we want to make sure that the current Land City Connect customers, that number somewhere in the neighborhood of 200. We won't know that number definitively until the final settlement, but we want to make sure that those customers aren't interrupted. And that also means that I think we talked about this on Monday, but we do not have anything in writing with PPL regarding issues related to pole attachments and fiber that they've taken down in the past. We have built a good relationship with PPL over time, and we think that we'll have, we've got some work to do with PPL clearly to deal with potential issues with the fiber, but we want to make sure that Land City Connect customers who are currently connected and currently getting that service aren't interrupted.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Sure.
Question, Patrick. The pole connection fee, is that a one-time fee or is it recurring?
It's an annual fee.
Okay.
And we had that, again, that's been, when we've had traffic signals, old fiber, not MAW installed fiber, but old fiber and other attachments up. That's been an ongoing issue for years and years and years. It's a standard in the industry.
Is that pole attachment fee standardized, Patrick?
There are the pole attachment issues are under the purview of the Public Utility Commission in Pennsylvania. In some states, it's the FCC. In some states, it's the Public Utility Commission. In our case, it's the PUC.
I'm sorry. And how much is it?
That I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, it's not, I'm not going to try to throw out a number because I'll be wrong.
Okay.
Whatever number I give you, it'll be wrong. But we can definitely get you that information.
Okay, that's much appreciated.
Sure.
Any other council comments on this item? Anybody else want to give Patrick a hard time?
No worries.
All right. Any other comments from the public on this matter? Okay. And this is, I'm sorry.
First reading.
Yep. Just checking in with that. So great. We're going to move right along to resolutions. Resolution number 6, 2021, Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster appointing special counsel for the City of Lancaster.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Baquet.
Thank you very much. So we spoke about this in our committee meeting. Sorry, I'm just playing along here at home. It's number 6. Okay. And this would appoint a special counsel for our Public Utility Commission matters. Our previous counsel unfortunately passed away, and this appointment would allow us to have additional backup in that position from a larger firm. Mr. Hopkins, anything additional?
No, just you know, as a publicly owned water and sewer system, both of those systems are have portions of them that are under PUC jurisdiction. We also have a number of other matters that come up from time to time related to the PUC, whether that's related to UGI or PP&L, our one PA1 call system, all that sort of thing, it all falls under PUC jurisdiction. And having access to not just a sole attorney who has expertise in this area, but an entire firm, we think will be a benefit for the long run. And Barry Handwerger and I interviewed Ms. Schultz. Courtney Schultz is the attorney at Saul Ewing that we would primarily be engaged with. And then we had an interview with one other smaller firm, you know, who provides good service and has expertise in the municipal area. But we really thought that going with a firm with more resources was the right way to
go. Anything else on that, Councilor Baquet?
No, I'm sorry. That's everything for me.
Right. Any other council comments on the resolution? Anything else from the public? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Roya?
Aye.
Ms. Baquet?
Aye.
Ms. Craig?
Aye.
Ms. Diaz?
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina?
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell?
Aye. Thank you. Administration Resolution number 7, 2021. Mr. Harris?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving an amended capital project list to be funded by the proceeds of the City of Lancaster General Obligation Bonds, Series of 2018.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Baquet.
Thank you very much. So resolution number 7 amends the capital improvement plan, which was funded by 2018 bond issue. We were presented with a list of amendments to that plan. Some of them were additions, some of them were savings that were realized after we got final costs for projects in the water and sewer system. Essentially, the changes resulted in a nearly $2.2 million in savings, or essentially money that's become available to us to use again as part of that bond issue. Mr. Hopkins.
You beat me to it.
I
So-
see you nodding
so-
along.
Yes, well, I'm nodding along and I was trying to pull up the Exhibit A. So as you said, we're basically reallocating, we're eliminating some projects because they've been funded through the Penvest loan that was approved by City Council last year. There are other projects that have been combined and already actually funded through a separate capital project within this fund. And then there are some either new projects or projects where we are looking to increase the budget based on expected costs related to those as engineering and other planning has come along with those in those project timelines. So as you said, we're in all of these changes in the sewer fund portion of the 2018 bond fund. We're freeing up $2,165,000 that will be allocated towards other projects in the future, either ones that have already been approved by council or ones that we would bring to you with subsequent amendments. And then in the water fund portion of the 2018 bond fund, we're taking $1,274,000 from the South Tank project, basically reducing the contingency funds that we have in that project and putting them toward the 2021 payment for the replacement of the membranes at the Susquehanna Water Treatment Plant.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Okay, any other council comments on this resolution? Anything else from the public? All right, hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Royal,
Aye.
Ms. Bakay,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye.
Oh, I should have noted this before you had that vote, but I have there were some typos in that last Exhibit A. So I'm going to send a revised version, doesn't change any of the numbers. I'm going to send a revised version to Bernie and all of you just because I'm sure you hold on to those exhibits for dear life. So I'll send that to you after the meeting's over.
I appreciate that, Mr. Hopkins. Thank you. Mr. Harris, given our later consideration of what would be Administration Resolution number 8, 2021, does the next resolution become number 8 or does it remain number 9?
It does, Mr. President. This becomes, I will be renumbering that resolution. So the exoneration ordinance becomes number 8.
Administration Resolution number 8, Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the exoneration of 2020 water charges in the amount of $50,817.43 and sewer charges in the amount of $46,780.30 for city-owned or related properties at 24 locations.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Bakay, one more time.
Thank you. All right, so the resolution formerly known as number 9, now known as number 8, is a resolution exonerating the 2020 water and sewer charges for city-owned properties and city-related properties. This is, we're not billing ourselves for water and sewer, but it does take into account the usage in 2020. Obviously, we still want to monitor that, make sure there isn't any issues, leaks. There is a note that one of those properties is the Lancaster Airport. And the reason why that happens and why that's on the list is because should there be a large snowfall, the Lancaster Airport allows us to use, which isn't going to happen, allows us to use their large trucks for snow removal.
I'm glad that you were the jinx this time instead of me. It's all on you.
We didn't have to say it this time. That's all I have for this one.
Thank you, Councilor Bakay. Any other staff or council comments on this resolution? Okay, anybody from the public? Burning desire to jump in, water sewer charges? No? Okay. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Bakay,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
and President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. All right, that I believe brings us to the end of our legislative agenda and brings us to our second public comment period, which is open for comment for issues not on the agenda. The duration of public comments is limited to 3 minutes. And of course, you begin with your name and the location of your residence. Would anybody like to make public comment at this time? If so, you can hit the little raise hand button at the bottom of your screen there. Going once. Oh, we have a Donna. Let's add Donna to the meeting.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, hi. I'm an LNP correspondent. I'm Donna Walker. I don't have a comment. I'm just wondering, the agenda that I have has an item on it that wasn't addressed. And so that's what I'm asking about. Why wasn't the resolution to recognize Black History Month addressed?
Yes, that's on me. I have been drafting and redrafting the Black History Month ordinance or resolution to just try to hit the right note to recognize Black History Month. Frankly, after the fairly significant year we've had in the question of civil rights, racial justice, and other items. So we'll be seeing that at the second council meeting of this month. And of course, we all love Black History Month, and I know that we celebrate it every year. I celebrate it all year long. I don't know if you were with us at the top of the meeting, but I did mention that was one of 2 items that we would not be addressing this meeting, just so you don't think there's been any sleight of hand. But thank you for asking the question, Donna.
Yes. Thank you, my mistake. I see it.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Any other public comment? Going once? Going twice? Okay. I believe that brings us to the report of the mayor. Janine Sirachi.
Good evening, councilors. I just very briefly wanted to call your attention to tomorrow night for Facebook Live at 5. We will have Dr. Fife, who's the chair of our Board of Health for the city of Lancaster, and wanted to just let you know that we are working with very specific communities here in Lancaster to assure that they have access to the vaccine. So we're putting into place very targeted efforts in coordination with a number of partners to help those who are disabled and elderly in particular at this time, and then additionally those folks who have language barriers. And so each week, we are meeting and coordinating those efforts. And tomorrow night, Dr. Fife will be talking about the COVID vaccine and just continuing to educate the community about what the vaccine is and what it isn't. He'll also be joining Milsey Carrasco at 5:30 to provide all the same information again in Spanish. Following Dr. Fife, the following week, we will be having Sharon Allen Spann, who will be joining us for a Facebook Live discussion related to the work that the city is doing around equity and engagement. And also of note is that Sharon will be presenting a report to council the second meeting in March. And so that is just a precursor of what is to come to council. And I believe that is the end of my report for this evening, President Smith-Waddell.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Sirachi. I do not have a report, which moves us to council comments. Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.